wrong when I'm right. Hardly wrong when I'm right, I'm hardly correct. Hardly alive, but I'm good, but hardly a mess. Hard to survive when you living life with regret. Hard to rely on the lies you're telling yourself. If I don't die from the pain, it's gonna be from the regret. It's gonna be from the regret. It's gonna be from the regret if I don't. It's gonna be from the.
Every time.
Man, what's going on, y'all? You say every time, man.
Every time. I can't think
Man,
of a
welcome
time it wasn't.
everybody, man. Welcome everybody to another episode of Allegedly the Podcast, man. Your boy Streatz and Camino wrong, man. He may look a little dark as shit, man. You know, people was looking for him and shit, so he had to go do his from an undisclosed location and shit.
I'm in my bunker.
He in his bunker, you know what I'm saying? He on his I can't even think of dude's name, man. That's crazy, man. Saddam
Osama
Hussein.
bin
He on his
Laden.
Saddam.
Oh,
No, he wasn't in no bunker. Remember, they caught that nigga in the house. They was living in the house with a wall behind that motherfucker and shit, man. You know, but man, before everybody tuned in, man, share the live, man, share the live, share the live, share the live, share the live, man. We just want to, thank everybody, man, for tuning in to the show, man. We got a great topic tonight, man. We're gonna talk about the bottom of the boat. You know, we our friend Fonte, man, came up with a little thing saying that, the bottom of the boat is the reason why black people are how they are right now. You know, the people at the bottom of the boat and the conditions that they was in are play a major part in, the things that we understand in life right now. So, those we got a guest
going
coming
on. You can trickle down whether you want to talk about black on black crime, which I'm gonna touch on, whether you want to talk about the difference in the money in the households and the racial wealth gap and everything like that, whether you want to talk about shit, really anything you see, it all can really be boiled down to the bottom of the boat.
the bottom of the boat, because that's where we came from. Like, that was actually our last home. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, you gotta think, like, shit, there was people on the bottom of the boat who was born on the bottom of the boat. Imagine being born on the bottom of the boat.
And that's all you know. This is home.
Man, because you know they was taking the pregnant ones. They had them in snack. Like, man, no, get that one pregnant. We can grow that one from scratch.
Oh, man, he can be the firstborn.
And we also got my man D Double coming on, man. My man DeAndre Davis, Dr. Real, the black Dr. Phil, you know what I'm saying? And but before we touched on that, I wanted to talk about today at SIU. They had a SIU campus, Southern Illinois University is university here in Carbondale for people who don't know. They had a die-in, and then this die-in was about a protest of, over this year. I think they've had like maybe 3 students shot. One was shot in the head, survived. A young lady was killed. May she rest in peace. And several other people. Matter of fact, I think about it, may have been about 5 or 6 people have been shot this year, just all SIU students. Now they had a die-in, and they had a protest, telling the chancellor and the SIU that, hey man, y'all ain't really doing enough to help protect us and stuff. And I definitely feel they pain, because people come off to go to school. You know what I'm saying? One of the things is that when you're on campus, if a shooting happens off campus, they aren't notified the same way how they are notified if one happens on campus. I agree with that. That's something that they would like to know. They also want SIU to pay for their hospital bills too, and I definitely agree with that. And I feel they pain because, you come off to school, man, this is a place you come to learn. You obviously don't want to be in the hood because you would still stay in there, So I definitely agree that, them asking for those things are things that, SIU should grant them. And I think SIU said they got a list of 12 things and they had already completed 10 of them. And they just was going to be working on the other 2. I don't know which 2 from the article. I wasn't able to decipher what the 2 was. But my thing is that, like, when I shared the article, I said that, if people are still listening to the music that, supports the killing of black people, and they watching movies that supports the killing of black people and using guns as a way to solve problems, then we still part of the problem. Because at some point we got to decide, is art imitating life or is life imitating art? And not to mention that most of these shootings happens at house parties where there's people drinking illegally because they're not old enough to drink, You know what I mean? Which is why they go into these parties off campus, because you can't do these things all on campus. So I mean, you have to still bring accountability to yourself, because my thing is that you can't be participating in legal activities and then other illegal shit happen. You know what I'm talking about? And now you like, damn, what the fuck is going on? Bro, you participating in legal activities already. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you still have to bring accountability to yourself because you didn't have to go. You don't have to go to a party. And I'm not saying that a person should be able to have to stay in the dorms, but they have clubs, they have bouncers. You know what I mean? They these bouncers are able to pat people down and make sure that they don't bring weapons in there. Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think any of these shootings took place inside of a club.
They all been house
I'm not
parties,
100%.
right?
I think they all happened at house parties. You know what I mean? So you still have to bring about, and there's gonna be people who are gonna be like, oh man, people should be allowed to party. True enough. But the reason that they're going to these house parties is because everybody can't get into the club, as well as there aren't any black clubs around here, because when they do have black clubs, as soon as they get outside, niggas gonna shoot them motherfuckers up and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel them, because it's like you get away from one of the roughest neighborhoods in Chicago only to find out your school based on the same demographic as that. You know what I mean? So I
I'm pretty
definitely
sure that's part of the reason the
understand that,
school was
man. And I
chosen.
think it's like, I just don't understand how people don't want to take the accountability for themselves as well. Like I said, because if you listen to the music, if you're watching these movies, these TV shows, and all these things that supported black on black crime, but you mad when black on black crime happens to you, then I don't really get it. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. Just how I look at things. I can't be mad if I'm in the streets and I get shot, because that's expected. But people will assume that because they slightly in the street shit and slightly not in it, that they shouldn't have to deal with street things. For one, there's alcohol involved. You know what I'm
But
saying?
we
Like,
already talked about that. You only got to worry about the alcohol and that when you at the party with all the gangs with the guns.
man, with the gangs, like, because I mean, but I would be like, man, it ain't like these niggas ain't drinking during the daytime, but these niggas is drinking during the daytime, because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I know how it is. I've
Mm-hmm.
been somebody who drunk every day, all day, because shit, nigga, it's a party, nigga. What? We out here is like, what? Nigga, 24/7. What? Wake up. We partying. So I understand that mentality. Like, I really don't drink as much as I used to. I might sip here and there, but I really don't even see no point in drinking. Like, it really don't got no benefit other than people thinking that they deserve a drink after a long week of work or doing school. And people like to lower their standards and lower their accountability for things. So people
But
indulge in
my
drinking
thing
because they like
is
how
though,
it feels.
what can the people at SIU do for them? Like as far as the head, what can they do besides
Man,
tell them
listen,
stop
I
going
don't
off
know. You
campus
say
trying to
you say
party?
they should have been
Go to the
protesting on
places.
the east side.
Man, that's what I'm saying. What can the
Hey,
people at
you say they
school
should have
do?
been over by the Irma Hayes, like, hey man, y'all niggas, man, they
Man,
might
if
have
I
got
was the
shot at
dean,
over there though. See, you know what I'm
man, if I was
saying?
the dean, bro, I'd have been like, hey, just don't go over there and party. Just stay over here to where we can kind of keep an eye on things.
Hey man, you hear me? Like, hey, listen, man. Cause I mean, hey, but they gonna put it under the guise of like, dang, man, we can't enjoy ourselves. We off here at college, and the whole stigma of the is, when you at college, you becoming an adult, you want to party and stuff. But none of that shit don't really got no benefit to it, other than
Like
people
you said,
thinking that it does.
they need to be on the east side with their protest.
Man, listen, that might get them shot though. You know what I'm saying?
They need to go holler
So
at
I
Zano.
mean, I just wanted to touch on that just because, man, I felt like that actually plays into a part of what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? The bottom of the boat, and the mentality is that on one hand we have people looking at people like, these niggas got a gun, these niggas is wrong, but you still listening to the rappers who talk about the exact same thing. You're supporting their music, you streaming their music, you know what I'm talking about, you giving them sales, like, and we can't just sit here and act like we don't want to take accountability, man. So I just really wanted to just touch on that, man, just to get my opinion on it, since it was something that just happened and stuff, man. And if my man D Double is in the studio, man, you can bring him on, Tone, so we can go ahead and get into this topic of the bottom of the boat, man.
Not elate.
Dang. I get. I mean, maybe I'm late. I told him 10:10, so it's probably only been like 10 minutes
And then
anyway. So
you know what's been really bothering me?
what's up?
Why is we talking about kitchen sets?
Why are they talking about kitchen sets? I don't know.
Bruh,
Somebody had made a tweet. You know what I'm saying, and was
when
talking
I
about
seen it, I'm just
uh.
mad the whole world was consumed with this.
I mean, you know how it is. Like, I mean, anytime things like this come up, I don't mind it because I like arguing with people and debating with people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I actually, the arrogance in me gets a kick out of proving people wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
making people think a different way. And sometimes even I get swayed and look at things differently. Because if you would have asked me this shit about 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you know what I'm saying? I would have been like a kitchen set for a boy. Man, shut up talking to me, man. What is you
Man,
talking about, man?
give him a strap and tell him go on.
Man, get that little nigga a bottle of Patron.
Wow.
You hear
He
me?
over
I'd
here
have been
talking about
telling him
kitchen sets.
get that nigga the bar set. But I already know how you are, Cam. You one of them people who if it's trending, you don't want to talk about it or you don't want to really
Man,
be
you know
bothered
that's what
about
it
it.
got. You
But
know that's
I'm
what
one
it
of them
was.
people who, when it's trending, I want to talk about it because I don't mind debating with people. I don't mind discussing people. It's just like with the Sinbad movie, like everybody been talking about that. Well, not everybody, but people of my age and just a little bit younger than me have been talking about the Sinbad movie and stuff. So I'm definitely in
I
agreement
just
with.
couldn't believe that. I just couldn't believe that we was talking about a toy set and not the guns and stuff like that. That
You
was
said
just
it. I mean, that's what I said. I mean, that was my main thing. Like that's what I said though. Like I had said that like people had a problem with them buying a kitchen set, but I'm talking about buy a kid a gun and teach them they're shooting each other and violence is a way to solve problems and stuff. When it really don't solve no problems and stuff, man. I'm talking about like I was looking at, man, when I was doing a little research and stuff on the topic we was talking about. I was looking at like the population of people, like and you would think that the vast majority of the world is filled with white people, right?
hmm
And it's not. Like what I'm talking about. Like the Chinese make up more people. I think it was the Han Mandarin Chinese make up more people than any other race in the world. And I was just thinking about like, dang, China be having shit locked down. Like if their government don't like something, you're not even finna bring that shit in there. You know what I'm saying? Man, what? Facebook? What? No. You know what I'm talking about? Like it be so many different things that if they rock over here and they allow it here in America, that in China they don't. But if you look at TV and you look at entertainment, you would think that it's only white people in the world. You know what I mean? So that because like we have an agenda of, man, shit, they in control. But in reality, they not in control because they don't even make up the majority of the people in the world. And China be doing their own thing. You know what I mean? Like they have their own world. And our perception of what the world is strictly based on what we exposed to. Like we really don't know what the fuck goes on in China unless you've been there. Sure, you can look up some stuff and it can tell you some facts, but you living over there and living in their culture are two totally different things. So I think that plays a bigger part in the bottom of the boat, because if we think that the white people is the majority and they not, that means that we really just a small fraction of anything in this world. And not only that, we be killing each other faster than any other people. Now I ain't look up no death rates as far as like I know that like China wasn't one who had like the highest mortality rate. Like I think the highest one, I don't remember exactly what country it is, but it was like 19 deaths, I want to say per day per 1,000 people. Like that's how many people were killed. But it was like in a more less a rural country, instead of like a metropolis or any type of country that was populated,
hmm
because it's like the more intelligent people come, the less violent they become. Whereas, the more people are in poverty, the less education people have, people are killed for more foolish reasons than they are. And so then you have black people sitting in the middle of technology. Like we don't live in a place where we really behind. Like, people will say, systematically, how this country set up, is designed for us to lose, and it is. But we don't really even go about trying to fix it for real. Like, we complain about it and say stuff about it, and we still have people who, like, they don't want to be judges. People don't want to be police. You know what I mean? People don't want to be shit. Motherfuckers look bad at people if they be COs. You know what I mean? Like, it's a job. Like, but a lot of things come with stigmas. It's like, if you black, you can't be certain things because you the bad guy. And the only way you can actually change these things is to infiltrate them and be in those things. Like, you can't expect the police to, like, the whole policing system to change if it don't have no black people integrated into it. Like, and nobody want to be the police. Like, nobody, and that comes from the bottom of the boat mentality, man. Like, people probably tired of being next to each other, man, and that harms us. And we look at each other, and we
like we was
we
there,
like
huh?
You say what?
Say like we was there,
Man.
literally.
we was there, and it's like we came off the boat into slavery, like, and simply was beaten. Like, because you got to think, like, the people who bought slaves, these people didn't travel on the boat with the people. You know what I'm talking about? They didn't go to Africa to go get them. They like, hey, man, we got some people going to do your labor for you. And they like, okay, shit, how much? Oh, shit, man, for that one right there, whatever the amount slaves was going for at that time. And people was, I think one of the main reasons that white people were so harsh was because they expected motherfuckers, like they looked at black people as being unintelligent, all because niggas didn't speak English, So it's like, I don't understand how like, I think it's not enough accountability on our part, man. And I think, like, that you're talking about, we need to take out the word toxic. I think we need to be using the word accountability. You say we need to take out the word toxic and just say people trash and stop with the bullshit. I definitely agree with that. You hear me? Because, like, shit, that's really what it is. People be like, I'm toxic because, no, nigga, you really just a trash ass person. And I'm talking about, you have trash
Man,
ass habits. And you know what I'm saying? You want to use another word because shit is popular, when we should be using words like accountability.
When you call it that means you don't got to fix it.
Yeah.
There is
Damn,
no.
man. I was wondering when you was coming and shit. Not you fashionably late. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it was only a couple minutes. I had to,
What are you in the den?
Damn.
you know, man cave, man
Oh, okay.
house. But
Everybody, man, this is my
what's
guy
the
D
word?
Double, Dr. Real. Man, we were just sitting there talking about different things. I was just from researching as far as the bottom of the boat. I don't know if you was able to hear us in the background and stuff, or if you was
Yeah,
watching it.
I heard a little bit of what you was talking about.
Yeah, I was just talking about as far as, like, because Cam had made a post earlier, like, can we get rid of the word toxic? Can we stop saying toxic and y'all just say y'all trash, man? That y'all just trash ass people. You know what I'm saying? And stop using the word, oh, I'm toxic. I know I'm toxic because no, you just trash. You got a trash ass attitude, a trash ass understanding, and your perception of life is trash. What do you think
36.
about that?
I think everybody gets to diagnose you now, but they don't know how to cure you. Social media, you can just diagnose people. You just get to be a counselor. You get to be a doctor. You get to be a psychologist. You can be whatever the hell you want because you could just type it. Toxic, toxic, toxic. So yeah,
You
I
got to
agree
say
with
my
that shit.
bio.
I hate when people do that shit. Like, everybody just follow along with the same lingo and get the sounding the same. So I agree, but as far as accountability, it ain't gonna never be none because it's just super easy to blame somebody else for everything.
Man, that's the easiest thing in the world. Like, like, that was one of the main things, like, when reevaluating myself, was that I had to bring myself to account. Like, damn, it's so many things that I still have to work on every day. A motherfucker, a work in progress. But I think the first step is recognizing that you're part of the problem. And I don't think that a lot of people think they part of the problem because of our society being so comfortable with, like, before you came on the show, we was talking about here in Carbondale, the population probably only like 26,000. They may have like 16,000 people who go to school here, and they
Damn.
had like maybe like I think like probably like 7-8 people killed. I mean, not damn, I said killed, shot this year that go to school off campus though. And my thing was that I was saying that they had a protest where they wanted the school to take a more advanced approach in how they handle the situation, as far as like they wanted to be notified whenever a shooting happens off campus versus only being notified when something happens on campus. They want the school to pay for their medical bills and just things along that lines. And I was
Schools
like,
pay for medical bills.
yeah, like whenever they get shot, they want the school to pay for their medical bills. But my thing is that like most of these shootings happen at house parties, like where people are drinking underage illegally. You know what I mean? So people participating in illegal activities, then illegal shit happen. And now it's like, oh, well, damn, I just came here to get drunk. You know what I mean? And party. I understand that.
That's
but they
wild.
also have clubs, you know what I'm talking about, that you could go to where people are patted down. You know what I mean? But most of these people can't get in them clubs because they too young or they don't play the kind of music they like, so they go to house party. Then boom, you know how it is when niggas get alcohol in them. That courage, that liquid courage get in niggas, and now everybody tough. And if you got a pistol, nigga, I was tough when I came through the door. Shit, I got this gun. And so my thing was that they still, and plus not to mention that they listening to music that supports black on black crime, watching TV shows and movies that support black on black crime. Are we, is life imitating art or art imitating life? And you still have to bring yourself in accountability too, because you don't have to go to these parties. You choosing to go to these parties. So I brung that back up because I was saying about if you want to blame SIU, like Cam said, like, damn, what they expect the school to do? Like, I'm pretty sure the school probably like just don't go on off campus, because off campus is, people from Carbondale. And most of I don't know who doing the shooting. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's the SIU students or if it's people from Carbondale or if it's a mixture of both. I just know it's black people doing it. That's all I know. You know what I mean? And it's not happening at the white people parties, unless they catching strays or something. You know what I'm talking about? Like there was even one time there was a party where some niggas got the shooting and shot and killed some white dude in his bed sleep.
Damn.
Right. You know what I mean? So they hung them dudes out to dry. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, when do the accountability start and when do it stop?
Never.
Because it's like you said, it's easy to blame SIU for not protecting the students, but the students is going to participate in illegal activities. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't think that, back in the 60s and 70s when they was going to them squeak easies and all that type of shit, man, it was shit that was going on that they had to sweep under the rug because they knew what was going to happen. They wasn't supposed to be there. And you got to take accountability. You can't, they wasn't going to blame the police for the shooting or somebody getting stabbed there. They took that nigga to the hospital or whatever and hope that, it didn't come shut the club down because they needed the business, But enough of me talking this stuff, man. I'm gonna let my man Dr. Phil. I'm pretty sure he got a lot to say about I don't know why I said Dr. Phil. I'm just so, used to seeing the P right there.
Mm-hmm.
But my man Dr. Real about the bottom of the boat.
From my perspective, it's really a lot. Like, as far really the bottom line that we don't know our history. So as far as we don't know, that's why I got what I sent you from Frederick Douglass. He was describing stuff that people probably don't know from that time, where people, like, it was a lot of things we were like, he was saying, like, I don't even know directly the quote, but you could put it up. He was like, we're doctors, we're lawyers. You know what I'm saying? We're doctors, we're lawyers, we're engineers, we do this, we do that. And most people think we was just slaves. Like, and when I got to doing certain little research, like damn, I got to looking like, damn, it was black colleges in 1830. I thought we couldn't read. You know what I'm saying? So right. Like, and that inspires some people. Like, if you just knew, like, yo, damn, in 1850, my granddaddy was a surgeon. You know what I'm saying? Like you won't
Right.
think of it like I was a slave, like I was this, that. Like my sister people, they got like a little family research thing they did, and some of their people was from Canada. You already know what that represent. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once we get to knowing our full history, it could give us a little more confidence for us to not even have the mentality that we have. Because off the rip, we're victim. That's what we've been preached. Most people our age range, our our first thoughts, or not thoughts, but our first knowledge of slavery came from Alex Haley, Roots, the movie Roots. That's all we knew.
Yeah, I
You
remember
know what I'm
watching it
saying?
in school.
Right. They used to play it in school. That's all we knew. So like that's all we thought. You know what
That
I'm
we were
saying? So
slaves.
we
We didn't even think about that people even in that time was aspiring to be things that was greater than we already was then. Because they, like you say, they want us to continue to be the victim. And then right now, like I remember when a dude was saying that, man, living in the hood, like living in a third world country. I said, bro, you never even been to a third world country for one. So you don't know how they live in there. You only know what
right.
you shown. For two, bro, we have running water and we have a cell phone. Man, crackheads got cell phones. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
that means every single person who in the hood got access to information.
Right.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
right.
Nobody using it though.
People you bet. Yeah, like that's a whole nother topic. But back to we can work our way to that. But back to what I was let's
Go
go
ahead.
back to the
I like that.
1800s and work our way to 2021 because I
Okay.
got a lot to say. But
I
All
ain't
right,
no
bet.
timeline on that.
so we gonna go back to 1800. Like I researched there's a dude named Harem. I don't know if his name was Harem Revels or Harem Reeves. In like 1860, he was a U.S. not a U.S. senator, but like a New York senator or something. And when they describe him, they like he had exceptional gifts and talent. When I hear that, when I see that and read that, I'm like, no, he didn't know how to juggle or sing. He was smart as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like he was smart.
Right. He ain't know you say he wasn't good at
His
basketball
exceptional
and
gifts
shit.
and talents was like they looked at the rest of these people like a certain way, and he was different.
Right.
Like he was smarter than us. That was
Right.
his exceptional gift and talent. Like
He was
we
smarter
had
than
to
white
count
people.
on our fingers and this, that, and he could do it in his head. Little stuff like that. That's exceptional. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
we don't know how great we were. That for starters. You know what I'm saying? For starters, we don't even know how great we were. You know what I'm saying? And
You know what? A lot of people go wrong with. They want to go back to the history of what we was in Africa. You know what I mean? And shit, like that's really not even our history. You know what I'm talking about? Our history start right here in America because we're Americans, and I don't like how people will, like dumb it down as if oh we was great in Africa, but when we got over here we wasn't because, like you said, fall under that victim thing.
mhm. But the thing is, like we don't even know the history of that. I was looking at like because we all know they was selling, they was going to the African kingdoms and getting slaves, and they were selling them. But I was doing some research for this actually. I learned some stuff I didn't know. They were saying that when they was getting these slaves, people wasn't really selling people from their tribes. They were selling like people they got from prisoners
Other
of war,
tribes,
like
yeah.
or like people they didn't give a damn. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it was like it's
that's what it
always been like
was.
a
Whenever a
mentality of like
tribe,
I don't give a damn about any so the next man over money. Like money always been like the key or to people just not giving a damn. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Like so for starters, you know what I'm saying? We
But
don't
a lot
even
of people try
we
to say that that's a lie. That they be like, man, that's just something that they teach you. But in reality,
that
slaves
shit
was a
true.
commodity. Yeah,
Nah,
slaves
that
was a
shit true.
commodity. If
That
I
shit true.
conquered your tribe, I own everybody there. You know what I'm talking about? If my tribe beat your tribe, I own everybody. I'm mostly gonna kill most people, and whoever I don't want to keep, I'm selling them. I'm gonna
Nah,
trade them for tobacco, for sugar, for whatever the different type of commodities that I wanted at that time. And then the white people was basically like, man, we could just start taking all these people because none of them have firepower. You know what I'm
My
saying?
theory is American life was funded off the Mali kingdom. They overthrew them. Where the money go? Like Mansa Musa was the richest man ever, and he was selling slaves. We know this to be true. Like from at least what we was told. At some point in time, they got greedy and was like, "We coming for him. He's too rich. We got to get him." Or he died or something. Where the money go? They stole it. That's what happened. And brung it over in boats and made America. You know what I'm saying? That's my theory. I can't prove it, but
right.
I want to see a movie of it. That's what I want to see. I want to see a Musa movie.
Yeah.
Cause I like,
but nobody
where the money go?
No movie like that though. You know what I'm saying? People are just, they more so concerned about the they want to make movies about BMF and you know what I'm talking about. Like,
but see, but look, my thing about that is, I don't think people really want to see a real slavery movie though, like of actual life. If somebody was to make a movie of how life was actually going for some people wouldn't really want to see it because it would resemble life now for people. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen something, or I read, I'm not seen, but Frederick Douglass was talking about how they would get drunk on the weekends and they would like, if you didn't go drink, you was looked at as ungrateful. So they would go to the bars and saloons and then these were his words, waddle back into the arms of slavery. So it was like, we looking at it like, but they like, and my thing is this, there's no way you could tell me that they was paying the same price as the white people. So like white people was probably paying 1 cent and they was paying 10.
Right.
And nobody ever thinks about the money. It was always a price, but nobody ever thinks like, yo, how was some people paying for their freedom and other people wasn't? Like, where's the money? Like, what's money? Like, and I was looking up Josiah Henson, Uncle Tom, you know what I'm saying? And they were saying he was a minister and he paid for his freedom with tithes and offerings. That means he wasn't preaching to white people. He wasn't preaching to white people. He was Creflo Dollar. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
He was Creflo Dollar. But the point was, where were they getting the money? They were getting paid.
Because the black people was giving it to him.
No. Yeah, they were giving it to him. But what I'm saying, the slaves were getting paid.
Right.
People don't want to ever see that. They don't ever want to see people waiting for a paycheck, people using the money for dumb shit, actually being able to buy shit. They don't want to see that. Like I read this other book. Why I read the whole book? It was called Incidents of a Slave Girl. And it was talking about, the girl was talking about how her daddy was like, he was like a blacksmith or like a contractor or something. And they had a house outside of the plantation. Somebody owned them, but they had a house outside the plantation. She lived there, the grandma lived there, and he used to like work. He was a contractor because he was like basically the nicest person around. So it was like, word, like this nigga know how to do this. So like, if you need somebody to do it, he gonna do it all across the state. You know what I'm saying? So he was traveling and her grandma made pies and was selling them to everybody. You know what I'm saying? But they were slaves, but they had their own house. People don't know that type of stuff. Like they don't even, we just think we was getting beat. We was getting
listen. He was talking about, before you was gone, he was talking about that one of the dudes who had bought his slavery. Remember the dude they was talking about, who they called him the biggest Uncle Tom? He had bought his freedom and then he started buying slaves and had slaves the same way. But guess where he come to find out where he was getting the money from? He was a minister, so he was getting the money from tithes and offerings. You know what I'm saying? So he basically was talking about how the slaves was getting paid, similar how right now, how motherfuckers go to work and they get paid and they go spend their money on frivolous things. And damn, this nigga keep cutting in and out. Like, that shit is crazy. But go ahead, what you were saying, because
and people, Kanye, his first comment was controversial, but people really got mad at the second comment, but it was really nothing they could say. When he said they never really freed the slaves. They just went to work for other white people. Man, listen, if you know American history, that's a fact, because that's what the Civil War was about. They was trying to expand America, like, yo, y'all basically like in white terms of conversation back then, it was like, yo, y'all got all the workers and we could be making them work. Like, we could make apartments, we could make malls, we could make all this shit, and y'all got the workers. So y'all being selfish when we could be using them for our advantage. This is why, listen, and everybody know back then the Democrats was the slave owners and the Republicans was the other side. That's why they're still the same way. People talk about it changed in the 60s. No, the hell it didn't. That's why they're still with business and the Democrats is with people, because they own the people.
Right.
And the Democrat and the Republicans was about the business. Like, yo, let's make hotels. Let's make these. Let's make apartment buildings. They can live there. We could charge them for that instead of your selfish ass. And people was like, no. And they're like, okay, we're going to just go and do our own thing. You know what I'm saying? So from the beginning, it was, hold on. So from the beginning, it was about business anyway. So the whole Civil War was because they wanted to expand and make other shit and have the slaves working for them instead of working for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the owners was like, eat it. No, we good how we already is. We straight. We good. You know what I'm saying? And they went to war over it.
Like, shit, fuck it. All right, well, we're going to free them. We're going to fuck up y'all shit y'all got going on.
It really wasn't even about them. It was about one more state. If you really probably know that, like, it was about one state, one deciding vote. I can't even remember the state. I don't know if it was Kansas or what. It was one more state that was coming into the union, and they was already tied with the votes, and whatever this state voted, it was going to be the deciding, and they wanted to make it a slave state, and the other state wanted to make it a regular state, and they fought over that.
And then it's split off, and everybody was like,
man, I got all this shit from
I told the people a long time ago. I said, man, like Bloods and Crips and shit, man, and Vice Lords and GDs, like white people been did that already. You know what I'm talking about? Like even the whole genocide of us killing each other. I told people white people did that when they had the Wild Wild West. They wasn't killing niggas. They was killing white people, bro. Because the white people had the money. They wasn't going to no black towns. And you could go look at that movie, The Harder They Fall, and it show you where they go rob, what bank they go rob. The one in the white town that had $10,000. You know what I'm talking about? They didn't go rob no black bank because they knew they wasn't going to have the money. So you have to think when people was outlaws then, they was going to rob each other. The white people was killing each other. They was shooting each other. They was doing the same thing we do right now, except it was lawful. Right.
And that's what they, you know what I'm saying? They had before they went to before the Atlantic slave trade, they was enslaving each other. You know what I'm saying? It was kill, eat, kill. Not kill, you know what I'm saying? Dog, eat, dog. Mm-hmm. They was killing each other. So hell yeah, that's what they was doing. It's always been grimy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, even in Africa, that's how it started with the slaves. Like they were selling each other, warring. It was over money, over territory. You know what people was warring over? Territory, money.
Because the more land you have, the more you could put people out there to work it. The more money you can have, the more you can acquire.
I thought about it, like even watching Black Panther, people talked about how enlightened, you know what I'm saying, how powerful that movie was. But I thought about it like, yo, y'all fighting over something that this planet is made out of. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you fighting over this and you can just go get it from anywhere? You know what I'm saying? It's an abundance of this.
Right.
Like I was saying it with the video game. I had made a little story like, yo, because people talk about proximity crime and people only kill each other because they broke. And I'm like, no, it's a mentality. Because even on a video game, people kill you when they could just get money. They just do it for fun. You know what I'm saying? And people like, right. And I was saying, people was talking about the kitchen set shit. I said it in my story earlier. Like, I don't want to hear people saying that like, cause I don't got a problem with it. I'm like, man, it ain't gay or nothing like that, but some of the arguments I disagree with because of other shit contradicts it, where like people are saying like, oh well, the chefs, it's a lot of chefs, so they can have a kitchen chef because a lot of chefs. Like, no, because when people were saying like toys don't equate to adult life, because
not at
people
all.
were saying because when people were saying that the video games that relate to crime, people were saying no, they don't. So now you can't use it and say that it leads to success if you ain't gonna use it with the failure. You know what I'm saying? So like, and that's another thing.
More motherfucker moving the goalposts.
Right. People, you know what I'm saying? But it's, it's prisoner of the moment talk.
Yeah, but see, and that's what I agree. Like, I never, I'm talking about, like, I just, when people said, people could go on and be a chef, I was like, yeah, I just looked at it as a toy. You know what I'm talking about? If a kid want to play with it, they want to play with it. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm not going to assign no gender to an inanimate object. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know how kids think anyway. Like, I was talking about it myself, but when I asked my son about it, I'm like, yo, you play with kitchen sets? I was just asking him, I was having a conversation with him. I was asking him. He got to talking about the food they was making. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. His cousin had one, like his girl cousin. Yeah. But when he was play with it, he was talking about the food they was making. You know what I'm saying? He's not thinking about it like he's a kid.
A kid. They not even looking at the shit that we talking about on Facebook.
Right. They're not thinking about it like
that goes with the whole thing of most people build their kids up to what they want them to be versus what a kid is. Like, that's how you get women who dress their kids a certain way to look like the man that they see on TV that they want. Like, I think you tagged me in that post the one time where I forgot what it was about, and I was like, I bet she called him her sexy man. You know what I'm talking about? Her son or something.
The dreads, yeah. I mean,
yeah. She had the dreads and shit. Yeah. No, the little what the fuck they call them things? The tips. What the fuck? The wicks. That's what they call them shit. The wicks. You know what I'm talking about? Like, the baby had the wicks. Knowing goddamn well he ain't asked that. That's because she thought that was cute on a man that she seen, and she like, oh, I'm gonna make my son look like that, and he could give a fuck less.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a kid. Like.
Mm-hmm. But that's how it is, though. I mean, that goes back to mentality as well. You ever seen that thing? It's like, it came from like the 1960s. How to market to a Negro. How to market to a Negro.
Yeah, I think I seen it. It's like a commercial or something like that, right?
It's
I think
pretty much
or something like that.
It's like an infomercial.
Yeah.
But they had like a black dude acting out stuff in there too. But it's like stuff we live by now. You know what I'm saying? They go by designer. They want to be flashy. The Negro wants to be flashy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was almost like it was 2022. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, how do they know all this? They're right. That's why it's funny when I be hearing people say, like, people talk about the lingo of certain things in a Willie Lynch letter, and they say the letter's not real. Like, yo, okay, y'all sound dumb. Like, those words weren't used back then. Like, okay, well, whenever it came out, it was some facts.
Right. Because
you know what I'm saying? Like, everything in there was some facts.
Mm-hmm. Even if it was fake or not, you know what I'm talking about? It wasn't. I guarantee somebody picked that shit up and used it. You know what I'm talking about? To build his business. You know what I mean?
It's not fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my thing is this. Even if it came out when the first time people ever heard of it in the 1970s or whatever, then and they tried to use it as slavery, they were still telling you about WIC and government assistance and the shit that we go through now. So it was still telling you about what we do, and we can see it. We do it. Everything that they talk about happens. Put the young versus old, the man versus woman. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they're doing. The marriage.
And it's so the mentality like that they shape. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. Like, we are like, I think one of the main things that people fail to realize is how influenced we are by things. You know what I mean? We don't accept, like, people don't even talk, like, I don't even hear nobody talk about. You remember in school when they used to teach about subliminal messages? You know what I'm talking about? Like, they don't even teach that no more. They don't even talk about that shit no more. You know,
because everything is one.
Everything is one. You know what I mean? They used to teach you about how it was in them jingle to make you certain colors or make you hungry, and certain things that you see make you go participate in this or do those things. And we sitting here like, even though I'm still one of those people who accountability, that end of the day, everybody still make their own decision, but we still are influenced as of things that we consider normal. That's just like how we consider black on black crime. That's just normal. You know what I mean? Like I was
People make
arguing.
excuses for it. It doesn't even exist. It's just proximity crime. It doesn't exist. It's propaganda. It's made up words. I've had this conversation with people all the time. Like, I don't even get to talk about it ever. It's never a time to talk about it because it doesn't even exist to people. It's just something made up. They made it up.
Yeah,
why don't they talk about white people? Why don't they talk about black people?
White people.
Why don't they say that about Jewish people?
See, this is the thing. Like, white people aren't waking up and putting on pistols and going outside and killing each other.
My problem is we're a minority, so it shouldn't even fucking matter. Like, there should be a lot of conversations that we have that don't involve white people at all. You know what I'm saying?
And so the number one thing that we should have to talk about would be black on black crime. But people want to pander the idea that all people are always killed by people of the same color. Them. This is true, but being that we only make up like 12 to 13% of this population, and we're killing each other we make up 60% of the murders. When you have white people who make up 42% of the population, you would think that they would make up the majority of the homicides.
Right.
But in reality, they aren't. We still killing each other faster than we can grow.
And it's crazy because especially the mentality we have, as a lot of this gang shit, people in every single state and hood and area, this shit all boiled down to somebody years and years and years and years ago beefing over a woman.
Man, you hear me?
And then once somebody get killed, then it turns up into another level, and then you got to keep retaliating. But it boiled down to they was beefing over something stupid,
something dumb, something that could have been resolved by, all right, man, you know what, you got it. It'd be pride,
or bro. even if it was somebody robbed somebody and then the dude got back and did something, it still boiled down to he shouldn't have did that.
Right.
And now you riding and killing and siding and run with the nigga that robbed the nigga that was on the wrong from jump.
It's all out of pride, man. And
you know what I'm saying?
Like, and then you know what be so crazy to me is that me and you could sit up here and talk about this. We could have people chime in on the show. They could watch, they could listen, and then boom. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares afterwards. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? They go back to regular programming. And that's what be so sad about it, because
you normalize everything.
Yeah, you know what I'm
saying? It's all normalized. Even the kid that that had made the post about Dolph and got killed. Like, man, I love my city. They so gangster. And then they killed the kid. I read the comments. Oh, that's what he get. He shouldn't have been joking. He shouldn't have been talking shit. Like, yo, man, what you mean that's what he get? Y'all was just saying R.I.P. Dolph. Now you saying this what this nigga get. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just normalized that people just get killed, and it's like you would normalize it over little
talking
things.
about when it's gonna stop, and then you'll justify him killing somebody for what?
It's always, people always will find a way to justify stuff. Like, it happened in my hood. Like, it was this white dude. He was a troll. He was a troll white dude. Like, he used to be buying pussy from girls and everything, but like online, he used to be calling people black bitches and all this shit. Like, he was like he had a character online. You know what I'm saying? And then he ended up getting slaughtered, like killed. But I don't even really know the story, but he ended up getting killed. And when it happened, people like, that's what he get. He's a racist. This is what he get. He shouldn't have been talking shit. He called me a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, little shit like that. Like, yo, he called you a bitch. Like, come on now. And you know me, I'm militant. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like I'm a side with him, but when it comes to like getting killed and you justifying it over trolling online, it's like, does that really matter?
Right. Like, you feel like that was
like, was he gonna say that to you in person? Especially when he was a person where he used to mess with black girls.
Right.
So people call him a racist and say that shit, but really he just was like a troll online. Like, he knew that he was gonna get a rise out of you if he said nigga. He's white. Like he was like, yo, him saying nigga was gonna get a rise out of you. So he was
Right.
gonna say it. Him saying black bitch was gonna get a rise out of you. So he's gonna
So he gonna
say it.
say it.
It's
Exactly.
online. He's trolling you. And he had a character. Like at that point, like he gonna get online and do it every day. Cause every day somebody's gonna get triggered. So I'm going to every post where the bitches at, where the hoes. He was one of them. He gonna get on the post like where the black bitches at. I'm trying to buy
Knowing
some
that somebody
pussy.
gonna bite. He done threw that
I'm trying
reel
to
out
buy
there.
some pussy. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
shit like that. Just a comedian troll shit.
Right. Knowing
But he
that
ended
was
up
gonna
getting
trigger.
killed. And then when that happened, people like, fuck him, who cares? But it's like, yo, but okay, if
But
something
it's a
happens to
dude
your
in prison
cousin
right
and
now
them,
regretting
you
that he
gonna be
did that
online
dumbass shit.
crying and with your shirt on saying for your baby, that's your baby. Oh my God, how that happened? But you was just justifying some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
people
definitely crazy, man. I'm talking about like the whole mentality that we have,
that's
and I
just
don't
what
think
we
that
got with
like I think a lot of it comes from like I was saying earlier, like the people who got out there and protest. They called it what was a die-in. You know what I mean? And they went on campus and they protested them. And the chancellor came out and heard them and said, "We aren't afraid of people. We're afraid of guns." Or some I forgot what the fuck they were saying. They had some little chant they were saying. But at the same time, like, what about it still take a person to shoot the gun? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you can't blame the gun.
but
Like, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want these people to take accountability. Like, when we're influenced by the music, we're influenced by the TV shows, we're influenced by social media. All these things influences, as much as people say that they aren't influenced by these things,
they are.
all these things still influence you and form an opinion in your mind of what you think is right. You know, so you have 1,000 people who really aren't even that educated, right? You have 1,000 people who really aren't that educated. So they'll look at it like, shit, man, if I don't shoot this nigga, he gonna shoot me.
Right.
Like, that's literally the mentality. And then
But
you have niggas who don't even think that. They think of, oh, there that nigga who was talking that shit, I'm finna kill him.
mm-hmm.
Because that's justified. You know what I'm talking about? Like, bitch, nigga, you was talking shit online, now talk that shit in this casket. You know what I'm talking about? Like, literally. And some motherfucker, like, man, rewind that, man. That nigga spitting. That nigga talking. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? And you just rationalize the shit. You know what I mean?
And then
Like,
yeah, but look, but people like with the Rittenhouse thing that just happened. People, you know, the court system, and people want to complain about the disparity, but the court system it shows you how evil the mindset is of people because they don't give a fuck. Like people like Sammy the Bull and Alpo, they can commit all of these murders and then give up information that leads to someone else and get less time. All it is to them is a game to get more people. They don't really care. They're not thinking about it like, yo, but he killed 30 people. Who cares about John Gotti?
right.
You know what I'm
Because he
saying? We'll
still
just
chose
get
to
him.
do that.
We'll
Like,
just
who
get
cares
him
about if
another
John
way.
Gotti told him to
You
do
know
it?
what I'm
He
saying?
still
We'll get
decided to
him.
do it.
Forget this information. He killed 30 people. We don't fuck that. He's never getting out. They don't look at it like that. And that's the court system. And that's just how history has made it. Like people are desensitized to killing. Period.
That's why I said, like, even when I was talking about the kitchen set, I said people won't buy their kids a kitchen set, but they'll go buy them a gun to teach them that killing is okay to solve a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's and because like they're like a gun is literally for protection, for defending yourself. You know what I'm talking about? And black people are some of the only people who use them offensively. You know what I mean? Like a nigga don't even gotta be life in danger. You know what I'm talking about? I know that nigga right there. I'm finna this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? And now he dead.
Right.
And you really lose 2 lives because then this nigga gonna get caught. You know what I'm saying? Now he going to jail for life. And then this nigga dead too. So, you know, when it's gonna stop? Shit, when we quit normalizing it, when we quit accepting it as being something that is normal. Like there is literally I'm almost 1,000% sure that the majority of things that people get killed for could have easily been talked out.
Always. Well, not always, but yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like people gonna say, well, you know, man, shit, he stole from him. What you do if a motherfucker steal from me, I'll kill their ass. Like,
Right, man. Listen, man. I
What
ain't even.
is
I'll tell you. I ain't even gonna say no name. It somebody, you know what I'm saying, that I know that we knew, grew up with, got killed. He did some time in prison. When he came out, he was still wilding. Basically,
Mhm.
he had like tried to break in one of our homeboys' truck. My man that we was cool. He was an older cat. Found out about it and talked to him. You know what I'm saying about it
Mhm.
like that? Come on, man. Like, come on, man. This is, man.
Right.
Need to chill out. You know what I'm saying? And then the nigga end up getting killed, still wilding, but it got doing some shit, but did some shit to somebody else that wasn't on the same talking out with you type of time. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And he ended up getting killed. It's like that's the type of shit niggas be on, like some, but you can talk shit out, but like niggas won't. And people also got the mentality of just they don't give a fuck about people. They're just savages. For money though, it always boils down. When it comes to street shit, it always really boils down to money. People just greedy for money. They'll do
That's
anything
all it,
for
and
money.
pride.
You can pay
You know what
somebody
I'm
to
talking about?
kill a person.
And
Like they
pride, bro.
don't care.
And it
Right.
be pride because like
Definitely pride.
you
That's
know what
the
I'm talking about?
number
Like that's
two
the
thing.
number. I think that's the number one because
Because even with the
nobody want
money,
to look like a hoe. You know what I'm talking about? Like
absolutely.
you would hate for somebody to have made you look like a hoe. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
especially when it be the like domestic situations or niggas get into it over women or all that type of
mhm,
shit. Pride, or even like the old school stories we know about, like Nikki Barnes. Pride, you snitch for your pride.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was your pride. You told. That's what it be though. But especially like yeah, that's what it be. Like people don't want to look like oh, like you said. That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah,
Always.
don't look like a hoe, especially if it happened on. Don't let it happen online where somebody could pull it up or say something about it. You know what I mean?
Even
And it's like,
before that, you know what I'm
man, you know
saying?
how many times I've had like, bro, like you know, because like I be telling people, man, life is a learning process. Like, and you never too old to realize where you wrong at. You know what I'm talking about? And try to make that right because as long as you still living, you have a chance to make those things right.
Right,
And I've swallowed my pride so many times because I realized that, man, that ain't that ain't even really no reason. You know what I'm talking about? Like that ain't even no reason to go kill a motherfucker. That ain't even a reason to react or do some of those things. You know what I mean? Just because of what? Like tomorrow is gonna be something new. Tomorrow's a whole new day, and nobody even gonna care about that shit but you. But
right.
no, I know this ain't that nigga who called me a bitch online. Shh. Pop, 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 pop.
Now niggas are killed. Like you could die over word,
Anything of a tweet. You know what I'm
quick
talking
word.
about?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And it's sad because with us not making up the majority of the population, we lose way more. You know what I mean?
and
Because we
people don't
never,
under looking at it like that.
and
They're
nobody's looking
justified.
at, and
Like I
people will
hate when
look at it.
people.
People will look at it for 1 second and then go right back to normal activity.
I hate when people try to rationalize like, well, it's more of them killing each other than us. Well, because it's more of them,
It's more of them. And
and
then
they're
they
not
not killing each other in the same sense that we are. Like
right.
when white people kill white people, it was an altercation and something happened and a white person got killed. But it's never that niggas is like, oh, them niggas from 600 block. Let's go slide on them niggas right now, bro. They killed Duck. Whoever out there, everybody down. Fuck, nigga, let off 1,000 shots.
That shit weird, bro.
Hear what Cam
Yeah,
said. What's the
niggas,
point? Cam having technical difficulties, so his comments. He commented in the thing. He said, "What's the point of king if nobody know?" Like that's the mentality. You remember from Paid in Full? What's the point of being king if don't nobody know? Like
right?
that's
But even that go. Listen, that boils back to what we talking about. A lot of people came from came from royalty. You know what I'm saying? Like you really got there's people that really got a bloodline of royalty, and even just culturally, how life was set up for people. They were kings within themselves. They were building their own tribes. Like people talk all this polygamy shit, but really that's kind of how it was back then. Like you was making your own kingdom. You had 6 7 wives, they had 5 6 kids, then it was 45 of y'all, and that was your kingdom. You know what I'm saying? And they got jobs, and they was working, and your kids was working, and they was bringing in stuff, and they was hunting, and they was bringing in stuff for the kingdom. And that's how once they started having kids, it's a whole village of people that came from you and your wives. You know what I'm saying?
And then
that's
some
how
nigga was
people
over there
was.
with the banana in another tribe, like, I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit at all.
And now we come over to our westernized version of one woman, and people wonder why these niggas is cheating. Nah, maybe because he was supposed to have 5 wives with 5 kids apiece, and he was supposed to have a kingdom, and they minimalize his whole life. He's a king and don't nobody know, like bro said. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't like preaching polygamy or nothing. But I'm just saying I know that that's how it was over there for certain people. I know that's how it was. That's how kingdoms was made. That's exactly how. It wasn't with 2 people.
Yeah,
you know what
could have been. But also at the same time, some people didn't come from kings. Some of them people were slaves too, though.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
You know, so a lot of motherfuckers be running around talking about they kings and queens. Nah, you trace your lineage back, man. Y'all have been slaves the whole time, man.
Right. But a lot of people came from, like, my granddaddy's grandfather was a full-blooded Indian.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he was here. He was an Indian. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. Like when I look back at all this stuff, I see, like, I don't think, like, Samuel Jackson's character on the Django, I don't think that was just like a character. I think damn near every plantation had one of them.
You talking about like
a black overseer? A black overseer.
Yeah, they had
black overseer.
Man, I was just sitting there telling the motherfucker the other day, man. I was like, man, I said, man, black people be so content that, man, you think they ain't want to be you think it wasn't nobody back then who wanted to be in charge, bro?
They was doing niggas
what to do. You know what
they was doing it. They was doing it. Even Anthony Johnson. You know the history of Anthony Johnson. They call him the first slave owner, but he owned slaves. It's a lot of people that own slaves. They listen, and they dress it up under the premise of,
yeah, this nigga Cam talking about he would have been Samuel Jackson if he had a choice.
Yeah. I feel it a little bit. But no, hold on, I got to make this point real quick before I say what I was going to say.
Right.
I was reading. I think it's that same book, Incidents of a Slave Girl. I want to say it's the exact same book, or it was like Uncle Tom's Cabin. It might have been Uncle Tom's Cabin. But one of them slave books I read, it was talking about how, like, the guy had his uncle's, or like not his uncle, but his owner's brother had a plantation next to it, and he would like cut through to get to certain places. And the overseers was 3 brothers, but they was niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they used to jump him if he got caught cutting through. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's fighting. They're fighting him for cutting through. They know who he is and that this is their owner's brother's dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he's just cutting through. They know what he's doing and where he's from, and still whooping his ass if he get caught on the plantation. You know what I'm saying? He got to fight.
They can.
You know what I'm saying? This shit is crazy. They could have let him through. They literally could have let him go. Nobody was, there's no cameras. Massa wasn't gonna see. They could have let him slide. Like, come on, man. You know you ain't supposed to be doing it. Come on, man. Right. You know, but they want to just fight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's to prove to the other slaves that
it's the same mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Like, that's how it is. That's how it is. Like, so, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I can see people being that. You know what I'm saying? Always. And then, but like I said, they dress it up as people. If you look up black slave owners, they dress it up basically as a lot of them was trying to give the slaves a better life than they would have had with the owners, which is true for most people. But on your end, for what you were saying, a lot of us are just assholes. Period. So if you got somebody working for you, you're gonna just be you're gonna treat them like people treat their kids. You're gonna yell at them. You're gonna do all the shit that people do to their children. So it ain't no better life for some people. They was just gonna be assholes regardless. We know that. So like, you know what I'm saying? And then like, but Anthony Johnson went to court and fought for his right to get slaves. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of stuff we don't know about our history. Like even I would look it up. Like the dude that wrote the Star Spangled Banner. He gets a bad rap.
Dred Scott, ain't that his name?
He gets a bad rap. People painted him as a racist, but really, if you look him up, first of all, people talk about the third verse. People just don't know how to read lyrics. If you look up the third verse, first of all, it's a song about freedom. Then, in the third verse, he wrote about slaves, and then they took it out. And people saying he's a racist because he wrote about slaves. No, he wrote about freedom. you hear me?
No, I didn't. I don't know. I had like some technical difficulties. Go ahead. What you were saying?
What I was saying was people pay him as a racist, but what was going on with him is two things. First of all, people don't know how to read lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
People say, oh, he was racist because he wrote about slaves. No, the song was about freedom. He wrote about freedom for slaves, and they took it out. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't the enemy. They were. Yeah. And if you look at him, if you look his history up, his nickname is literally the nigger lawyer. His nickname is literally the nigger lawyer because he used to represent black people in court. This is what he used to do. And this is back then, and it was like the most famous case he had was like it was a slave owner who died, and in his will, it was for all his slaves to be free. Right. And obviously his son or uncle or cousin or whoever the hell.
Like hell no.
Right. And so they had to go to court for the slaves. Mm-hmm. And Dred Scott, the people who we believe, the person who we have been told is a racist, went to court for the slaves and got them free. And this is what he used to do, to where they didn't like him. They called him the nigger lawyer because this is what he used to. He was like the public defender for black people. Right. You know, they wasn't getting no lawyers. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he would represent them. Mm-hmm. But to our eyes, oh, he wrote about slaves, so he's a racist. Nah, he ain't. Y'all are. Whoever took his verse out was the racist, not him for writing it. He was writing about freedom. They were taking it out
and took it and made it talking about freedom for motherfucking black. I mean, for America from the fucking Britain and shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like they just took the shit. Like, yeah, this is what we're gonna use it for. Fuck what he was doing. And people do that all the time. People take ideas and things from people and then they twist them and make them what they wanted to be. Once I got it, it's mine.
Right. And they said, you know what I'm saying? I just don't look at him as a racist. They talk about he owned slaves. Everybody owned slaves then. Yeah. That was normal.
It was normal. Like, you know what I'm talking
about? And I ain't normalizing slavery, but I'm saying for his case, I'm vouching for him. Like,
and then you have to understand that them people back then understanding, like if they were still under the Christian doctrine, most of their understanding is probably was thinking that they were supposed to be slaves. You know what I'm talking about? That like, bruh, like we literally have to understand that if it wasn't for slaves, somebody had to do the labor to build this shit. You know what I'm talking about? And
it's even, yeah, I hear you. Not to cut you off, but it made me think about something. Everybody can't be Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman. Like they was coming to it was more than them. Them was just the people that we know about. But when people were coming to plantation and doing the thing, it was people that were staying too. Mm-hmm. But what we know is that the prison system replaced slavery. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not slavery. You know what I'm saying? When they abolished slavery, they started the prison
felons and shit. Yeah.
So, like, think about it like this. Imagine somebody being in prison right now that was wrongfully accused. They literally didn't do anything, but they're in prison right now. And they're telling people they're going to escape. Everybody going to tell them, you stupid, you going to get caught. Mm-hmm. Hell no. Why would you do that? And that just lets you know that that's kind of the mindset that we had back then too. Mm-hmm. When people was Harriet Tubman, people was like, man, you dumb.
Yeah, why are you going to do that? You're going to get caught and you're going to get
And killed. Then even this, I also seen some stuff where it was this one slave owner, and as I know this is true because I seen people as parents. he would threaten the slaves with freedom. Like how if your 8 or 9-year-old
I kick you
say I'm
out.
about to run away,
Yeah.
I don't know who gonna clothe you. I don't know where you gonna get food from. I don't know where you gonna sleep at.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who gonna wash your dirty ass clothes. You know what I'm saying? How you do your kid? That owner was doing that.
Mm-hmm. It's reverse psychology.
They gonna kill you. I feed you. I ain't gonna. You go over there, they gonna beat you. Go ahead. You go if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead. You free.
But then you like, yeah, Master right. We ain't.
And your nigga
No,
like,
go. Like he said. Where the papers at, bro? Where they at? Come on, give them to me. I'll take my chances.
You hear me?
But it's a mentality they didn't know. Mm-hmm. And then, like I was watching Nat Turner, what's the Birth of a Nation? Birth of a Nation. Mm-hmm. And it was the part where the white lady brung Nat to her and told her that she knew how to read. Now we know people know how to read, wasn't supposed to know, even though, like I said with the Frederick Douglass, it was professors and all this stuff, but historically we was taught, and there was cases where you wasn't supposed to know how to read, right? So when she brung him and said, Nat know how to read, her first instinct was, she said, listen, I'm going to beat him, and I'm going to beat him good. He's never going to do that again. My first thought was, wow, they could have beat him. So it was never Massa's responsibility for the little boy to know the rules. It was yours. So when you have a kid, technically, you're raising a slave. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
You have to make them still have that mentality.
This is what we still doing. This is why people beat their kids when they do something wrong. And they think they got it from their grandma or they got it from the Bible. No, you got it from Massa. And that's where you got it from. That's literally where you got it from. When the kid, they do something wrong, you beat them.
Mm-hmm. And that ain't how you solve no problems.
That didn't come from your great grandma. No. Mm-hmm. That came from Massa. Mm-hmm. That's literally where it came from. People say, oh, no, it's in the Bible. People, oh, no, it's in the Bible. Yeah, I know it is. I know. It's right there. I read it. Right in that scripture that they wrote. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That one that they wrote, they put it right there. You know what I'm saying? So that is our mentality. We've been birthed off that same mentality, and then now we came from the nothing mentality, like you said, bottom of the boat, and then now we're told money is everything. So certain people are in a position where they can make it and others ain't. And you look down on people who ain't making the money. You look down on people who catch felonies. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like even in that Frederick Douglass thing, he said it was like 75 crimes punishable by death for a black guy and 2 for a white guy. Fast forward to now, you'll have a woman say she don't date a felon. But okay, maybe I'm not even a felon. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the mentality is we are warped into this shit of crime. Some of this stuff not even crime. Yeah, you can go to jail for owing money.
They was locking niggas up for years for selling weed. Now you can sell it legal. Shit in fucking in Portland, or is that Oregon? They didn't fucking legalize almost all drugs.
Hey, man, listen. So, you can go to jail for owing money.
You hear me?
You go to jail for owing money. I was just watching. I be watching because I study people in all ways, shape, and form. So I be watching the little paternity court show. Judge Lake. It was a dude. He went to jail for 5 years for child support, and the baby wasn't even his. Wow. Then he went over to hug the kid just on some, I'm sorry, I don't care, it's all good. And she gonna say, get away from my son. Yo, if he would have hit her and went back for 5 years, then it would have been okay. Yeah. Because what are you talking about? Get away from my son. That's my son. I did 5 years. You hear me? I don't give a fuck if I ate the daddy. I am now. You know what I'm saying? And then he was still on some, it's okay, we good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though it ain't my son, I'm sorry for disrespecting you. It's okay now. We good. He took, you know what I'm saying? He was
Still
okay with it.
was.
She
Yeah.
gonna run over, get away from my son. Yo, he should have, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I never been madder for someone else in a moment. Like, yo, what? Get away from your son. Like, yo,
After I just did
how,
5 years
how
for this.
dare you? You know what I'm saying? Like, the audacity, the y'all. You know
Man,
what I'm saying?
people
So,
go to jail for child support. What? Yeah, not in Illinois, they don't, bro. I was locked up in
5
Kentucky
years.
with plenty of dudes who was, man, I was locked up in Kentucky with a dude who did 3 years. They came and got that nigga from Florida, extradited that nigga back to Kentucky for child support, bro. He got in front of the judge, and the judge told that nigga that we've been taking care of your kid. We're going to continue to take care of him. Send him on the DOC.
Man, what the fuck, man? They don't care. This was a long time ago, probably like 15 years, 10 years ago. I don't know how long ago now, but I had went to a little child support court. They had just took all my taxes, probably like, I don't know how long ago, like 2 months, month ago. I don't know the exact timeline, but they had just took all my taxes, right? And so but I ended up having to go in front of the child support people. I'm like, yo, y'all just took all my taxes. I would never forget this day ever. So I'm like, yo, y'all just took all my taxes, bro. He like, so that doesn't have anything to do with that. And I'm like, yo, but I do this, and that. He like, you should bring receipts. I'm like, receipts for being a dad? He like, yeah. He was talking about like McDonald's and little stuff like that. Like, you should bring receipts and we'll take it off your child support. That's petty for real, for real. Like, if you owe a certain amount of child support a month, why would I bring in, I bought her McDonald's and I bought her this Coke, so I shouldn't have to pay this amount this month because I bought this. Like, yo, aren't you a dad? And he said, I'm like, yo, like, do you want me to pay child support or do you want me to support my child?
Right.
He was like, I want you to pay child support. That's exactly what he said. I'm like, man, what? Like, yeah, that's crazy. I just asked you, do you want me to support my child or pay child support? And you said pay child support. I mean, you don't give a damn about my baby.
At
you know
all.
what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
just a job to him. You know what I'm talking about? With people forcing people to have to pay child support keeps certain people with a job. You know what I'm talking about? Because you have to have caseworkers. You know what I'm talking about? The same way how you have to have probation officers, you have to have judges. You know what I'm talking about? You have to have all these clerks. You know what I'm talking about? All these different things like criminal, all these laws that they have. If you doing all this stuff, it keeps certain people employed. So of course they want you to continue to pay these things.
Exactly. And if you go back to what we were saying about the Willie Lynch letter, if you look at it, it describes government assistance. Take the male out of the home, make the female raise the son and feminize them. Like, yo, I see this happening. Right. I see it happening right now. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it. They did it with government assistance. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about, deadbeats and doing it on their own all they want to, but the government assistance thing, they did it right then. Like, they detailed it. Like, yeah, we're going to take the man out the home. And, you know what I'm saying? But they incentivize it. Like, all they got to do is sprinkle some money in your face and they're going to take it.
You say, yeah, you can do something strange for a little change, throw a couple dollars in the motherfucker face.
A couple dollars here, take this car, take these stamps, take this money every month. But you can't have a man in the house. You know what I'm saying? But it's part of the design. They broke the home up.
But that's stuff like that's
it.
what a lot of people don't realize. That, like, I tell a motherfucker quick, I said, man, slavery worked so well that they was like, fuck it, we just gonna make everybody slaves.
Man,
you know what I'm talking about? Like, and we just ain't gonna beat them no more. We just ain't gonna beat y'all no more, and we gonna pay you some money. You know what I'm talking about?
But that's how they were keeping it, man.
Like, you have people sitting there complaining about the raising up of minimum wage. To me, that looks like the people who was mad that people wanted a raise for picking cotton. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
listen,
y'all
they still got listen. Okay. When I was in the joint, right? I was making the most money probably out of the people on the compound. The jobs that I had, I was making the most money. Right. This is what I was making. First of all, I was working in like the front where you do the visitor, like where the visitors at.
Yeah, you
I walk up and do the front house porter. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
We was making like $1.70 a day. Each time I go up there, I'm making like $1.70.
Right.
Then I'm doing a job called POA. This is when like people go in there, like they're in quarantine. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill myself. I can't take it."
You gotta sit there and
they put
watch
you in there exactly. You watch them. You making $3.50 for a 4-hour shift.
Mm-hmm.
So in a day, I'm making $5. And this is bread in there.
You hear me?
You understand what I'm saying?
I know. I was in the feds, bro. Like, and they have Unicorp, right? So the people who Unicorp, you know, these are the people. I don't know if you're familiar with the feds, but in the feds, they have a section of people who have jobs. They make everything from fucking flak jackets, nigga, to fuses for bombs, all these different types of things for the military. They paying them like $200 a month,
right?
$250 a month. But look, that's good money in jail, because guess how long these niggas in jail for? 20 years. Look, so $250, you know, after 5 years, a motherfucker lose their family and their motherfucking thing. So that $250, you're gonna live comfortably on that if you still got 15 more years to do. You know what I'm saying? You getting $250 every month. Oh, I'm straight. I don't really need no more. I'm good. You know, you got that good, man. I'm talking about niggas be like, man, you got that good Unicorp job. I swear to God, it's a slave mentality.
Exactly how I was about to say the same thing. The place I was at was connected to a hospital. So they were, right when I was about to leave, they was literally bringing it had already started. They had a hospice program where they was training niggas to do the shit that literally probably millions of women is supporting their family off of. Hospice care, CNA care for inmates that's dying though. So like this is stuff that they would have to pay women or men, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Thousands and thousands of dollars. These niggas is happy to get 300. I think it was like 350, something like that. Happy to get the 350.
You can pay them slave wages.
Where women looking at, they hear this like 350 for a month. I'm making that in a shift.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Shit.
So it's like they wouldn't do it. They quit their job right now. You know what I'm saying? Right now, they would never go back. Yeah, and this is so that's where slave labor came from.
Definitely where it came from, man. Listen, man, I appreciate you, man, taking time out to come on here, man. We definitely gonna have a part 2 to this, because Cam didn't even get to, you know what I'm talking about, talk about his part of his technical difficulties. So whenever we get that together, man, we're gonna bring you back on here, man.
Right, man. I thought you never asked, man. I thought you never asked.
No, man. Hey, man. When certain things, the topic popped up in my head, and Karen was like, "Man, we should talk about." I was like, "Man, I got the perfect person. I know who should come on here and talk about this." And he popped in my head, you know. Man, I definitely appreciate you taking out the time to come on here, man. We definitely gonna get you back on here, man. You know, Dr. Real.
Oh yeah, man.
D double, man. Appreciate you giving your insight, man, on how we come from the bottom of the boat, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. And we're going to get up out of here, man.
All right, bro.
All right.
Yep.
Hardly wrong when I'm right, I'm hardly correct. Hardly alive, but I'm good, but hardly a mess. Hard to survive when you living life with regret. Hard to rely on the lies you're telling yourself. If I don't die from the pain,